find yourself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So Nuoff in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. Doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Hay deals with Marcello coming around the old hairpin.
I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped you all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down in towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pike going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such up. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's allowed to have fun. Yeah, it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching the Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
Does he have it?
Medeiros is going to get it.
Medeiros haven't got it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such chopper. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to round 6 of the JPB Clio Cup from Motorland Aragon Outer Circuit. I am James Parfitt. I'm going to be joined in the booth by Zach Sweeney once more here this evening as well, and we're in for some epic action as well. Circuit 4.89 kilometers and a very fast turn 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14. It's going to be a very interesting evening of racing here as well, but let's bring you up to date with the AM standings. Jack Andrews out in front at the moment on 282 points. Charles Kellerman on 262. Dan Lewis on 255 in third. There you're 1, 2, 3. Paul Godden in fourth. Then Edward Parfitt in fifth. Jason Morris sixth. Chris Dixon seventh. Wayne Palmer eighth. Andy Littler down in ninth with Sir Alan Toon in 10th. Ollie Ricks 11th. Mick Barry 12th. Craig Jones down in 13th. And then Dale Bennison, who has not appeared this season. In the AM teams, it is the genuine recycled by result team with Charles Kellerman and Jack Andrews on first on 544. We have JPB Racing on 419. Sim Stickers on 436. Work Card by result on 302. iRace Esports on 231. Headwear by result on 193. With Spiral by result on 114. And then Safeguard by result on the bottom. In the pro team standings, it is Result Clothing Esports out in front on 563 with SRL Next Gen in second on 486. Win It and Bin It Racing in third on 425, and then Results Clothing iRacing on 401. Team Radline in fifth, Send It or Bend It in sixth, and Photomedia.com. In the pro standings, Pete Newman is holding that top step by 2 points at the moment over Adam Delmont, Carl Ridley and Carl Hardy battling away for the illustrious third place on the podium. Luke Maxwell's also involved in that one as he only 6 points back from Carl Ridley. Roger Morton in 6th with David Ayres in 7th, Eric Maneville 8th, Carl Jacklett in 9th with Mark Draper, John Bailiff, John McHutchison and Adam McNally rounding out the standings here this evening. But it is Motorland Aragon. We can bring in one Mr. Zach Sweeney to have a conversation with him. Good evening, Zach. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm very good. Once again, another Monday and some more Clio Cup action. It'll be a lot of fun, of course. Aragon, always a fun circuit. Obviously fast flowing, this particular layout should keep the drivers focused all the way through. Some key overtaking opportunities as well, and always that rivalry that we see week in, week out with Newman and Delmont. Bring it on.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got 18 cars on the circuit here as well. Good evening, Phil. Welcome in. Good evening, Mr. Craig Jones. And Doodly Doodler, welcome in to you as well. We've got no Craig on track. He don't own the track. And he's still going to give himself a bit more of a rest before he starts doing any form of racing. Probably not a bad idea there as well. About 30 seconds out from qualifying, Zach, we've got a very close championship at the moment. The AMs are only separated by 20 points. The pros are only separated by 2, with, of course, third place up for grabs between 3 people in the pros as well. It's been an interesting season with these AM and pro battles. We know that some of the AMs have been just as quick as some of the pros, and it's been very backwards and forwards here this season.
It has. There's been, of course, some fairly big upsets for some, and some big mix-ups as well. I mean, the driving standards for the most part have been really clean, but I think the discrepancy between the pro and the AM, that line, is sort of a dotted one as such, not necessarily set in stone. And there are some disagreements with the pros and the AMs as to who should be where on track as such. So hopefully that they can all settle that down a little bit better and sort of manage the fact that it's a multi-class race as such. You know, you are going to be encountering different people, especially with that reverse grid format. you're going to have to overtake people that aren't necessarily in your class. You're going to have to put up with, say, Pete Newman working his way back through the field. And if you're an AM, then, you know, if you're fighting for your own position, then that's fair enough. But then you have to prioritize. As a pro, you also then have to prioritize how much a different thing's worth it, just in the spirit of keeping things nice and clean and minimizing the mistakes that are made.
Yeah, I think that's one of the important things, is just trying to minimize the sort of actions of yourself. Let's put it that way. Because we have seen a lot of times here, and we've seen people go and push through, especially some of the pros. They've gone and stuck their nose up the inside where it's not needed, and then it's got chopped off, and then they're ranting at the AMs. You know, we did have a driver briefing beforehand here tonight as well, and they were told that the AMs do not have to jump out of the way, but the AMs were told if a pro has caught you up 5 seconds, it might be best to move yourself from them. You might learn something and go a little bit quicker. So it's a mixture of being able to deal with one situation and then being able to deal with another situation. I think that's the thing for the pro and AMs. It's racecraft for the AMs, racecraft for the pros, and make sure the pros don't go diving anyone.
Yeah, it's just common sense really more than anything. A lot of these drivers are familiar with sort of endurance racing and multi-class, and you know, the general gist that comes with that is, oh my goodness me, who's that in the background? That's not Edward Parfitt, is it?
Probably best that I don't actually mention his name.
All right, sweet. Anyway,
it was Edward, yeah. I'm not quite sure, entirely sure where he was going. He just ran wide. The problem is he's trying to steer it out. And...
oh no.
He did miss them. He did miss them.
No, more they missed him.
Well, more they missed him, but not a sensible start from Edward there, I've got to be honest. I'm sure he will settle down as well, hopefully, as we were just talking about driving standards. So there you go. Bless him. My little chicken.
He should lead by example, really.
Yeah, just don't. You know what I mean? Everybody's been involved in their fair share of dramatics this week, and he's been one of them. So, you know, we've had it all. That's hilarious, says Grey Jones. Yes, it is. Poor old Edward there, the first person off the side of the circuit, and nearly ends up taking 2 other people out in the process. But the circuit itself, now normally, if anybody's seen this circuit round Motorland Aragon, when you come round turn 10, 11, turn 12 is a left-hander halfway just on the corner, and it basically goes left, right, left, and then you're out. It's almost, they call it the touring car circuits. Now, one of the interesting things is I was looking at circuit info this evening, and they don't actually have this layout on circuit info. No. You've got the Grand Prix circuit, which is the full circuit. You've got the motorcycle circuit. You've got the national circuit, which is just basically the front half of this circuit. And the motorcycle national, which is the same bit. And then the West circuit, which is another short one here as well. So the Grand Prix circuit is probably the longest at 3.3 miles there as well. Right, so we're going to start getting times coming in as well. We're expecting round about 1 minute 55 here as well. They should be able to get their 3 laps in, Doodly Doodler. I know you've come in and said it's 10 minutes looks a bit short, but it's a 2 minute out lap, 2 minute lap, 2 minute lap, 2 minute lap, and then a 2 minute in lap. So, you know, they have enough time here, Zach, to get enough laps in.
Yeah, they shouldn't exactly be struggling as such. I mean, saying that 10 minutes isn't that long of a time. I mean, they've just had to spend 4 minutes, nearly half the session, just getting 1 lap time in. Adam Dunn setting the pace. As we spoke about that rivalry between himself and Pete Newman, not really much separating them at the moment either, which is insane that once again they're carrying that stead going forwards. But with it being nearly 2 minutes a lap, yeah, they're not really going to get many in. I mean, yeah, they should still be able to get a good 2 or 3, but that's under ideal scenarios. That's without a spin or having to go back to the pit lane and change your tyres because you've cooked them or anything like that. It will take you a good 4 minutes to just set 1 lap time sort of in isolation. Obviously, you can do consecutive lap times as such, but that timer is going to go down a lot quicker than you think. They might only get 3 laps in, and when you think about it, that really isn't a lot. That's 1 to get acclimatized to the circuit, 1 to put a banker time in, and then 1 to push the limits. And if you mess up any one of those, you can really disrupt basically the whole trajectory of the whole session.
I would like to point out they have had 2 hours practice.
Yeah, well, it's different though, isn't it? Because you can put in as many lap times as you want in those 2 hours, and you can restart as many times as you want. The pressure of just 10 minutes, it basically, you just wipe all that practice away, because you have 2 hours to put in an optimal lap time where you can just restart and go again, and oh no, I spun, it's fine, I can chase my optimal lap time. Whereas in this, it's 10 minutes, and this is the one that you get points for. So there's a lot more at stake.
I do love the fact that they're topping out at about 1:33 down that straight here as well. So these poor little Clios absolutely whistling the hell out of them going down that long straightaway there as well before they come round and start it off here as well. More laps going to be coming through. Adam Dalmont with a green in sector 1, but he's yellow in sectors 2 and 3. John McHutchison coming over the line as well. He's sitting in 6th. Pete Newman's got a purple on the board. Is he going to improve? He does. He takes pole position on a 1:55.76. What about Carl Ridley? What's he going to do as he comes over the line as well? Carl Ridley in 3rd place. No real improvements. Eric Maniveld's not got time, neither has Roger Morton, and neither has Sir Alan Toon there as well. So, yes, should be quite an interesting one as we've got about, 3.5 minutes remaining. The weather here today, 36 degrees centigrade. Track temperature, 29 degrees air temperature as well. Quite a little bit of a roasty track here this evening.
When we are in Spain.
True.
Yeah, and of course it is just going to be, just straight sun really. There's not really much cloud. I mean, you've got the wind that might cool it down a little bit, but yeah, the track temp at 36 degrees Celsius is a lot. And those front tyres are going to be cooking. Of course, with front-wheel drive cars, they're doing the driving and they're doing the turning all at once around such a hot and also demanding circuit as well. A lot of long, winding corners here. Yeah, you've got that long back straight to sort of let them cool off a bit, but that internal carcass temperature, once it gets up to temp, a straight isn't going to cool down the inner part of the tyre, and it is just going to cause the cars to slip, and not necessarily slip outwards, but more slip forwards and have a buttload of understeer. And it is a very easy thing to do, is to overdrive a car, and not necessarily much in qualifying, because they can do slow down laps as such to bring stuff back into a temperature. But when you're having to go flat out for nearly 20 minutes, if the track temp is still 36 degrees Celsius, we're going to have a very difficult session out there for them, I'm sure.
Absolutely as well. I was just seeing if Maniveld went any quicker in the draft. It seems to be 1:33 seems to be the maximum that they're going to get out of this one as well. If they don't go over the line within about the next 5 or 6 seconds, they are not going to get another lap in. I fear for Wayne Palmer here. I don't think he's going to get another lap in either. I think this is it for him. It depends on how close they are here. Some of the back ones down into 12th might get a lap in, but other than that, they might struggle here as well. We've got no lap time from Sir Alan Toon, who's just been tootling round the back, as he always does. Bless his little cotton socks here as well. But we have got a couple of pros mix it in with the AMs at the moment. Carl Jacklett is in between Jason Morris and Paul Godden, and then we've got Roger Morton who's between Edward Parfitt and Paul Godden as well. So it's going to be interesting to see them two come through the field and see how they cope with it here as well. Adam Dalmont is out the front. He's got greens on the board here, sir. He's kind of going for it on this final lap.
As he should. Nothing really to lose. Just go to everything. I mean, Newman only narrowly ahead of him. You can see Dalmont definitely pushing the limits. Bit of traffic to contend with. And Slipstream can make all the difference around that long back straight that could very easily gain you a 10th or 2. And that's exactly what Dalmont would need, but he's all by himself out there on circuit. He's got 40 seconds to complete the lap. I don't actually think he's going to be able to finish it with how long this straight is.
We're going to find out. He did cross over with about 2:03 on the clock, so unless he's had an absolute terrible lap, which doesn't look like he's had, to be fair, he might be okay. And then we've got Dan Lewis out and track in 15th as well, as Eric Maniveld has gone up into 8th place now once again. So Adam Dalmont coming down to that left-hander. He's got about 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. He's going to be wishing he got there earlier. Adam Dalmont just missing out there as well. Right, let's bring you up the grid for race 1. Pete Newman is on pole position with Adam Dalmont in second, and Carl Ridley and Luke Maxwell third and fourth. Adam McNally in fifth, John McCutcheon sixth, Carl Hardy seventh, Eric Maneveld eighth. Then we've got Jason Morris with Carl Jacklin alongside him, Paul Godden with Roger Morton. Then we've got Edward Parfitt, Jack Andrews, Dan Lewis, Wayne Palmer, Chris Dixon, and then Sir Alan Toon. Further on from that, Tooney is the last one. 18 cars on circuit here as well. We got 3 races. Don't forget, top 10 reverse for race 2, top 15 reverse for race 3. So we will have some of the AMs mixing it in with the pros there as well. What do we think is going to happen there, Zach? The AMs mixing it in with the pros there.
Hopefully everyone sort of has that general sense of racecraft about them. I mean, obviously for Morris, I've got Jacklin behind me, I've got Godden then behind him. If I can keep that buffer zone, not necessarily because it's Pro-Am and different point, trying to finish as high up overall, that's a separate issue. It's more a case of having that barrier behind to prevent Godden from launching an attack, so you can maintain that AM lead and score maximum points in your own class. So that's the tricky thing, is that when they're all out on circuit together, they all start from the same grid. You're guaranteed to have some intermingling. For the most part, it's very divided between Pro and Am. You can see the vast majority of the AMs making up the rear of the field. But as we say, with Morris and Godden, they are mixing it up a little bit. So for Jacklin and Morton, their best bet is to get ahead and not worry about the AMs for the entire 20 minutes.
Here we go, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And we are green, green, green for Heat 1 here as well of the JPB Clio Cup live from Motorland Aragon. 18 Clios go hurtling down into turn 1 here with the lead given by Pete Newman with Adam Dalmont, Carl Ridley, Luke Maxwell. That's your 1, 2, 3. Paul Godden has taken second place in the AMs. Jason Morris did lose a place to Carl Jacklin at the start there, and Carl Jacklin has got through. So Jacklin's cleared him early here once again. Maniveld's on the inside there. He's running side by side with Carl Hardy as they come through turn 5. Hardy's gone wide. Morris has also gone wide as well. Morris completely missed the corner there, and unfortunately it's gone off the side of the circuit. Not a bad side start for some here, Zach, but not a good one for some of the others.
Yeah, it's definitely both. Well, a tale of both sides, really, in terms of the extreme. Some people have really good starts, some people not so much. I think that's Manivelle getting a slowdown as such. Side by side, just in the background, Parfitt, Andrews, Morton all battling over what is this 10th place. Godden leading the way. You can see there Parfitt trying to nip his way through. Roger Morton as well. They're going to take it 3 wide through this long left-hander that precedes the long straight. Thankfully, everyone keeping it nice and close. But this slipstream towards the hairpin. Oof, it's going to get spicy.
Oh, we're going to be 3 wide, I think. Roger Morton's on the outside, Edwards in the middle, and Jack Andrews is alongside him here as well. 2 AMs and a pro. We've got Dan Lewis sitting here again. Cons a little bit of door rubbing with Edward and Jack. Jack's trying to stay away there as well. They're still in the middle. They're still 3 wide. Who's going to be able to get this? Morton's on the left-hand side, absolutely praying. Morton now comes over and closes the door up a little bit here as well. Dan Lewis is nestled in behind him. They're going in once more. Andrews, oh, Lewis missed it. It is Edward. He's gone past the 2. He's taken that middle line, and he has taken that position and second place in the AM fight there as well. Great action from them guys. Further up, Manifield has got Carl Hardy for company once more as well. And then further up from now, we've got Adam McNally, Luke Maxwell, Adam McNally, Maxwell, Ridley, Dalmont, and Newman. So action further all the way through there, Zach. 3 wide, and they come out clean. Well impressed.
Yeah, good job, guys. Definitely a lot better. Side by side here, we've got Luke Maxwell, John McCutcheon, I should say, getting it mixed up with the guy from the Hunger Games. And he has played my TikTok for you page for too long. So I'm sorry, John, you are plagued, just burning my mind, really. However, this battle is raging on. Still very, very good stuff between the pair of them. Luke Maxwell able to get himself ahead and keeping up that really consistent run of form. Luke Maxwell, bar the likes of Newman and Dalmont and such, he's been up there, sort of 3rd, 4th quickest on the consistent. I mean, it took him a couple of rounds, runs 1, 2, a little bit 3, just to bed into the Clios. And now once he's got it, top 5s every single race, essentially. Podiums, I think he even was able to scrape a win at some point, not entirely sure. But he's, nonetheless, he's done a stellar job. He's closing the gap up to the top 4, which could then extend itself to be the fight for the lead. all he's got to do is hope McCutcheon is going to, well, play ball and stay behind him.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for Luke Maxwell, he has been the biggest improver, I think, as well. I think that's the thing. He did get a win in race 3 at Mosport, so he got the win there. He had a bit of a dreadful Catalunya, but then come back in round 4 with a 2nd place, and then he took 3rd in race 1 last week as well. So he's had 3 thirds, 1 win and 1 2nd place. So not bad for a man that never driven the Clios before he joined this season. So he's done a great job here as well. But Adam Delmont with Pete Newman nestling in behind him as well. Newman trying as best he can to clear Adam Delmont, but it's not always the easiest thing when we've got this SRL Gold machine coming right at us here.
Yeah, he's not one to back off, is Adam Delmont. If there's a fight to be had, he will go and have it. Of course, with Aragon being as fast and flowing as it is, obviously that long back straight as well, easy to keep you in touch, even if you're maybe a couple of tenths off the pace, all over the rear end, really, Adam Delmont. I think it is just a case of searching for the gap. Oh, my goodness me, getting a good old view of the rear end of Pete Newman there, even having a cheeky look up his exhaust momentarily. And, well, still 15 and a half minutes left of the euphemisms, as such, of the JPB Clio Cup. And Adam Delmont, oh, it's getting a little bit saucy.
Yeah, Luke Maxwell and McNally are also going side by side as well. You know, the interesting thing, I thought we were going to be very spread out here. I thought the makeup of the circuit, the AMs and the pros, but it's only literally 13 seconds between the lead pro and the slow... oh, no, hold on, let me reword that.
Hey, Chris Dixon.
No, not the slowest AM, but in last place. So that's what I was going to say there as well. So considering it's quite a longer circuit than what we normally put these Clios on, we normally do that sort of club circuit style, but now we've got this longer one, and they've quite enjoyed it this season. We've chucked in a couple of longer tracks here as well, but Adam Delmont and Pete Newman going side by side. They're both going to be sat in this car. It's like a Robin Reliant going against a Mini up the motorway here, where you're sat there and you're going, come on, holding onto the steering wheel. 133 miles an hour is all you've got out of these Clios. Delmont can't make it round the outside. Can he make it round the outside here as well? He goes off the side of the circuit. Newman gives him absolute ample amount of room to get back on there as well. And I think Delmont's going to take this down into turn 1. Is he going to hold the outside line? Is he going to be able to make it through here as well? Adam Delmont! Oh, nearly did get the place, but boy, oh boy, was that close.
It very much was. A little bit further back as well, we can see this battle still raging on. I think McCutcheon under pressure from McNally. They're going to run side by side through turn number 3. Let's see who's going to be the one to hang on. Once again, the inside line goes the way of the Scotsman, who's going to hold firm. However, that outside momentum really working quite well off the road. However, Maxwell, I think maybe assisting his teammate a little bit there, just backing off. McNally was like, "Oh, I've got to slow down here," and then very quickly found his way off the road. And that's one way to bring an end to a battle.
Yeah, I think Maxwell may have played a big old part there as well. Carl Hardy's off the side of the circuit here as well. We've lost Paul Godden. I'm not entirely sure what happened to Paul there. He seems to be just going very, very slowly here as well. Does he run deep into 1? He does, and well, that's all right, mate. Where's he going? There as well. Poor old Paul Godden. Where's he off to? Wherever he's going, I'm sure he'll be back there in the morning, but he is unfortunately in the pits at the moment here as well. So down in the AMs, it is Jack Andrews and Edward Parfitt fighting it out currently here as well, and these guys battling for that lead place. Half a second between them here. Great action all the way through the field, and yeah, I think this has been quite an interesting delivery of driving so far this evening.
Very much so. Haven't been disappointed one bit. There you can see Jack Andrews leading the way in the AMs, followed very closely. Edward Parfitt in 2nd place in the AMs in race 1. What a guy. He is, he's on it. He's on it. I'm sure he got a lecture after a couple of weeks ago and stuff, and has toned it down a little bit.
There may be an exchanges of a few graphical conversations between me and Mr. Parfitt, yes, should we say. Let's just say he was fully aware that that was not entirely happening. So, we've got Roger Morton just going up the inside here as well. This is an AM and Pro fight. again here as well. These two, unfortunately though, this is what we've said. These two are quite matched in pace. So for Edward's point of view, he doesn't need to move over because he can stay in front of Roger Morton. They're quite matched, as is Dan Lewis and Wayne Palmer, as is Adam McNally and Eric Manifield. So really in this AM fight here, he doesn't kind of have to move out the way because they're so matched on pace. Last time out, Edward did a 157.06. He actually was quicker than Roger on a 157.35 respectively. So it's a bit of a hard one here.
Yeah, it really is. But there's still 11 minutes left to go. Parfitt would very much like to be going forwards, but instead is focusing backwards, and of course it is very difficult when you're just wanting to focus forward, and yet you've got constantly having to, of course, look behind you. But the most important thing you can do, I suppose, I mean, Morton being behind him, just let him go. Like, surely, just let him go. He's quicker. All you're going to be doing with him is catching. Like, you get in front of him, you use the slipstream, and you get after the drivers in front. I mean, surely that's just a no-brainer.
But he isn't quicker on pace. This is the problem. He's not quicker on pace. Roger is sitting where he is on the times that he's doing at the moment as well. So it's a little bit of a hard one here for them. We'll keep an eye on their lap times here as well. This will probably give us a true perspective of where they are as well. But they are matched on pace. So does he need to move? Because Morton's not going to take him forward as such if they're doing similar lap times, surely.
Yeah, but how much is Morton being held back by Parfitt? Maybe Morton is using Parfitt to get after it. But then again, Morton is like 7 seconds behind the next pro. He's not going to gain anything by getting ahead of these guys anyway. So maybe it's just a lack of motivation, really, more than anything.
But he was 3 tenths slower on that last time around as well. So, you know.
Yeah, but he's going to be slower because he's behind him.
Yeah, but... Yeah, all right. But as we normally say, if you're quicker, you'll get past, right? So, you know, anyway, so let's move on as we can see Dan Lewis fighting away with Wayne Palmer here. This is for the final podium spot. That was Andy McNally and Manifield scrapping it out as well here. So they've done a great job in fighting each other and still quite close. Newman and Dalmont not too far away from each other, about half a second at the moment as well. And then Maniveld and McNally, and then we've got that Andrews, Parfitt, Morton, Palmer, Lewis battle that's becoming this freeway group here as well. Zach, 9 minutes on the clock. The cars are still fairly close together. We've got Paul Godden into the pits. We've got Carl Hardy into the pits as well. He's been in and gone through, but has come back out on track. So I'm suggesting that there might have been some little bit of contact here as well with Paul Godden. So we'll try and have a look back and find that one back.
Yeah, let's sort of try and piece together as much of the story as we can. Here we go. This should be fairly interesting. This is, of course, Lewis looking on the inside of Palmer. Our way through into the final corner. Deceptively not that heavy of a braking zone. Obviously, there's two. There's one that goes all the way up and then comes back down. That one more just, you know, is a wider arc. You can carry more speed through. Similar to turn 9 at Abu Dhabi, I think it is. You know, that long sweeping left hand at the back end of the circuit. Just a similar sort of dynamic. You're not on the brakes for too long. And obviously quite a wide arc, so you know, you're turning in quite sharply and you're carrying quite a lot of speed through. So it is difficult to get a move done there, but still possible nonetheless, especially if the driver in front makes a mistake. However, 5-car train here for what is 7 minutes and 42 seconds left of this race. Still plenty more of action to come, especially out of these guys. Morton, however, just sandwiched in between two loads of AMs in front and behind him.
Not really making progress at the moment. I think this may have had something to do with that one. There's Carl Jacklett. There you go. That is why Godden has got bent steering there. I'm not entirely sure where we can look at that. Hardy. Is Hardy off the side of the circuit at that point, trying to make the pass there?
I mean, again, I don't know. I don't really know how to call it, because every time I call a racing incident, you have something to disagree with it about. So
no, I do not. Let's just clarify something. There's been a couple of things I've agreed with today. I've agreed with Craig Jones this morning
Oh, that's Craig Jones.
When we were doing the conspiracy.
Oh, yeah, there's another episode of that. Oh, goodness me, I can't wait.
There's another episode. It goes out tonight at 8 o'clock. So if you're actually, it should be live now. So yeah, conclusion unknown on that one, where we discussed the death of Paul McCartney. Did he die or did he not? That is the question there as well, with the conspiracy conclusion unknown podcast with myself and Craig Jones. So go and check that one out as well. We're also on Spotify, so if you want to go and have a look for us over on Spotify, we are on there as well, and we're on various other platforms. Craig's been doing a wonderful job on the promotion side of things here as well, but Wayne Palmer is doing a great job hassling the hell out of Dan Lewis as we go on to the roof of Palmer there as well. Are we going to be able to make it through now here as well? Down into turn 1, we take that left hand, and now we've got the run round through turn 2. Again, another sweeping corner here as well. Morton cannot get through at the moment over Edward as they're coming into turn 3 here. Still going up the hill now as well. Into turn 4, left-hander now going to be going into turn 5. The next part of the left-hander here as well. On the brakes we go, and down and through now into turn 6 and 7. 6 is this part. 7 is the tight right-hander at the bottom here as well. Zach, great racing all the way through here. These guys still battling it out.
Yeah, they're always going to fight all the way to the bitter end, which is the best thing about these guys in the Clios, especially at circuits that promote close racing. The chicane, they're any way through, not quite on this particular occasion. I mean, Morton, again, just happy, really, to sit where he is. He's not going to be able to gain anything. He's not really going to be able to lose anything, so he's happy just in this state of limbo. He could lose the 2 places to Lewis and Palmer and not really bat an eye to it. So it's probably better for him just not get involved, no risks. Take what is a 7th place in class and just have with it, really. And of course, the further forward he gets, not only is he not going to gain anything points-wise, he's also going to be losing positions for the reverse grid race. Whereas right now, he's on the front row, a good chance for a win. If he gets past Parfitt and Andrews, he's then onto the 3rd and 4th row, which is always difficult. And what's happened here?
This is Adam McNally. He just all of a sudden disappeared, and I was a bit confused here. But then he jumped to the pits. Oh, whoa. He's turning left, but the car's not actually going anywhere there as well. Carl Jacklit's had another bit of a moment here. I'm not too sure if Carl's loving this circuit here this evening as well. And he just seems to be... Is it me, or does it seem to be like aliens driving this evening? Because nobody's actually turning away from anything when they go off the side of the circuit. It's quite bizarre.
Maybe their GPS has malfunctioned after realising the Earth is flat. I don't know.
Well, maybe, to be fair. It could well be as well. I'd like to point out that compasses do work on a round Earth and a flat Earth. Just like to point that one out as well. And they always point to the same direction. But let's move on from that one, because I'm sure we could be here as well discussing this one for ages. Pete Newman and Adam Dalmont scrapping it out. We still haven't really given a conclusion to the Carl Hardy-Paul Godden incident here as well, Zach. At your first glance, what do you kind of think from this one?
Have a look.
Carl Hardy is technically off the road, isn't he?
Carl Hardy's at fault, 100%. Carl Jacklet, I feel sorry for you. We have one. Look, just look at that. I respect trying, and I have no disrespect towards Carl Hardy. But my goodness me, was that a stupid move to make? And it's almost a case of, if there was space and he was able to keep it within the white lines, then that's fair enough. But the risk that you carry doing that was just not worth it. No. Better off sitting behind, better off trying to get a better exit, and better off going again. We're approaching, I believe, what is going to be the penultimate lap of this race. Pete Newman all over the rear end of Adam Delmont, about 3.5 seconds back to the rest of the field. Of course, Ridley and Maxwell fighting over the podium. We could have 2 pockets of battles here, 2 laps left to go. And fight for the lead once again. Delmont goes wide. Pete Newman definitely going to be eyeing up that lead.
There he is. He's got about 2.5 minutes remaining. It might be 1 and 1 more here from Adam Dalmont there as well. Good evening, Esme and Isla. Daniel Lewis's daughter there as well. Much love. Thank you so much for joining in. Carl Ridley and Luke Maxwell going at it as well around turn 1. They're going to have 1 and 1 more, I think, here as well. Edward still in front. Oh no, he's caught up to Jack Andrews here as well. They've got 1 and 1 more to have a go. Is he going to... Don't send it in there, son. The door's not even open. But I will say one thing. If Jack Andrews does that vortex of death that he just did then, he is kind of edging himself on for a gap to be taken there, Zach. We have discussed this multiple times from people doing that wider line, and unfortunately it does leave yourself open to being dived there.
Yeah, it does. You have got to be careful, leaving yourself susceptible to moves as such, but it's just general race sense really more than anything, covering off all the bases while also trying to maintain as high a speed as possible. It's a difficult balancing act to do, don't get me wrong, but that's what separates the good from the great, being able to defend, and that's something that these two do so well up in front. Delmont and Newman able to just read the situation so well, and it's almost a case of they're so familiar with each other that they can read each other so well and just sort of predict what each other's going to do, which obviously means that Pete Newman knows the best time to strike Adam Delmont is this part of the race. Adam Delmont surely should know this is where Pete Newman's going to be going tooth and nail for the lead, because how many times have we seen this situation? 1 lap left to go, Delmont leads Newman, and then in a lap's time, who's going to be the one in front?
That's the thing. Unfortunately for Adam Delmont, there has somewhat been of a history of losing the lead over the last lap or so. He has been working on it. I think that's the thing for Adam Delmont. He does take, sometimes, not always, because me and you aren't the most expert drivers, right? Let's be realistic about it here, Zach. We're not. Don't even go there, Mr. Sweeney. You're not acting like you're bleeding Nigel Mansell or Michael Schumacher. Let's put it this way. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, he has been trying to work on it here as well. And Pete Newman there almost sticking his nose up the inside. We've got this Luke Maxwell, Carl Ridley battle. Maxwell's trying to go up the inside of one. Ridley runs wide there. There's somebody coming out of the pits. Oh, dearie me. Oh, dearie me. Oh, dearie me. That's the 65 of Sir Alan Toon there. He did jump out of the way as soon as he possibly can there, so fair play to Tooney. Parfitt and Andrews battling out for the lead of the AMS. Morton just sat in behind him, but it is Ridley and Maxwell closest. Whoa! Closest ones at the moment.
Yeah, not long left to go in this race, and, well, they're turning up the heat. Maxwell versus Ridley. Ridley just able to stay ahead now. Of course, the rear gunner of Mick Hutchison is going to try and get himself involved. Ridley doing a brilliant job is to stay ahead. There's contact! And Maxwell has thrown it all the way right at the death of it. Is he going to be able to recover for a top 5? I don't quite think so. Maniveld finds his way past.
That
It's a shame.
It looked really weird, right? I don't know about you, but it looked like Ridley parked it on the apex. Yeah, he did, didn't he? It looked like Ridley parked it on the apex, or is that just my eyes that Ridley all of a sudden hits the brake here as well? So we're on board with Maxwell. Ridley's going to be on our inside. There he is, and then bang, brakes are on. I don't know. Right, final run down into the last corner. It looks like it is going to be Delmont who's going to take this victory here as well. He's got to hang on for one more corner, one more run. Adam Delmont's going to take the win in the pro class here. He goes over the line. Barney's waving. He did make it through. What's going on with Parfitt and Andrews? Go big or go home. Well, he's... God, Jesus, Jack. As he almost gets himself punted off there by going that wider line again. But it is going to be Andrews who's going to take the victory in the AMS. Parfitt in second place there as well. Carl Ridley rounds off the pro podium, and then Wayne Palmer takes the podium in the AMS there as well. But yeah, I don't know if Jack Andrews needs to work on his positioning of that car going into that turn. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, the way that I see it, you hit sort of a first apex, you run it in deep, you cut back, you get a second one, because you want to carry as much speed going in, but you also need to carry a lot of speed coming out. And like we saw with Delmont earlier, you swoop in quite nicely, take that second apex, almost sort of sometimes even miss the first, just to carry that speed in, then bite it back. Either way, it's worked out for Jack Andrews. He didn't get punted off, and he won the AMS.
Adam Delmont is nope, hold on, let me start again. Adam Delmont is your winner in the pros for race 1. Pete Newman in second with Carl Ridley in third. Then you've got John McHutchison, Eric Maniveld and Luke Maxwell. Jack Andrews takes the victory there in the AMS. Roger Morton in second. Huh? Edwards ended up down in 14th. I'm not entirely sure how he's got there.
Did he get drive-through and didn't serve it?
really cannot answer that question. But anyway, Andrews, Palmer, Lewis rounds off the podium in the AMS with Morris, Dixon and Hardy behind him. Parfitt down in 14th. Then Sir Alan 2, Carl Jacket, Adam McNally and Paul Godden. It seems a little bit bizarre here. I'm guessing we didn't have the 5-minute interlude between race 1 and race 2, and we're back up and running again there. And I'm guessing that didn't quite work out as Dan Lewis does a jump at the start here.
Well, yeah, back underway once again, which is, of course, really nice to see. And straight back into the action, no time to rest. Thankfully, no one went to run to the toilet. That would have been embarrassing us to not make it back onto the grid in time. Here we see side by side Morton versus Palmer. That's the fight for second. The 92 machine able to stay ahead. Very busy, just in behind as well. You can see Newman trying to fight his way through. In fact, of the two, it's Newman that makes the better start versus Delmont. Usually the other way around. That'll be interesting to track their progress. Jack Andrews then still on the podium in the ANS. They emerge 3 wide off the exit of that left-hander. Are they going to keep it? This is always the carnage and chaos that ensues on a reverse grid lap.
Yeah, it does, but Dan Lewis has done a jump at the front there. He's 1.3 seconds out in front currently at the moment as well. He has done a runner before he gets into turn 8 and turn 9. Now Manifeld's trying to have a go at the inside of Andrews. Andrews is kind of being a little bit of a roadblock at the moment here as well. McHutchinson's trying to take the inside line away. So is Newman. Newman stuck behind Andrews here. Can McHutchinson box Newman in to Andrews as they go running around turn 10 and 11, making it down through that long straightaway. Newman and McHutchinson here running each other is that as well. Andrews gives the toe to McHutchinson, but how much of a difference is that actually going to make in a Clio coming down here?
I mean, when they're only topping out that 132, could definitely make enough of a difference. And that's all it needs to do is enough. Of course, going into that final corner, it's going to be whoever's bravest on the brakes. A long sweeping left-hander, as long as you've got that inside line and you're convincing enough on the brake, should be good enough. Pete Newman, however, wants to make some progress forwards and build a bridge between himself and Delmont. Outside line through the final corner. Let's see what the fight is going to be versus the Scotsman, who holds firm on the inside, a little bit wide from Jack Andrews. They're going to emerge 3 wide. Pete Newman trying to thread the needle through the middle.
Yeah, Newman trying to go through the middle here as well as we take it 3 wide down that that start-finish line here into turn 1. McHutchinson, Delmont, Newman, Andrews, 2v2 going through turn 1 now as well. Delmont does make it past Andrews. Newman and McHutchinson still going at it. Newman makes it through. Andrews is looking at coming back up the inside of Delmont here. Delmont tries to go a little bit too deep in through turn 1 and 2, and then now Andrews has slotted in behind him here as well. Carl Ridley in the mix trying to make his way through currently at the moment. He's down 1 overall. He's now back into where he started here as well. So great action going on. Nice little bit of dawn banging. We've got Luke Maxwell and Wayne Palmer with Eric Manifeld going at it. Of course, Manifeld, there was contact. Maxwell's off again. He's decided he's going to keep going though, as he is getting used to this little bit of door banging after being in that SR10.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely get away with a little bit over the curb, though. Oh, my word, nearly careering into the side. Maxwell taking off the road, I think might be hit with a fat slowdown for doing so. He might have just been able to get away with it, not entirely sure. There you can see Delmont fighting with McHutchison as well, has that inside line. The Scotsman doing his best to keep it on the road through the middle. The SRL threads the needle through, nicely done. Momentarily sandwiched between the two teammates. Maxwell definitely hit with a slowdown, and that is a huge hit.
Yeah, absolutely there as well. Delmont and McHutchinson going at it again now on that run down from 12 into 13. We got Newman and Manifeld. We've had Jason Morris off, but there's also looks like there might be a little bit of contact with Carl Hardy as both of them men are into the pits here, and they both jumped back to the pits. We'll have a look at that one very, very shortly. Round the final corner they go. Eric Manifeld still hanging on from Newman now with Delmont and McHutchinson. McHutchinson's almost nose to tail here. Over with Adam Delmont. There is Delmont, there is McHutchinson. The Scottish flag waving proudly for the William Wallace of the SR10s here in these Clios. Into turn 1 they go. They do all make it through here, Zach, but it's getting very, very tight here.
It really is. And the beauty of reverse grid races is that we do have this overlap. And of course, you've got Delmont having to stay in touch with Pete Newman as best he can. It's so much riding on the races. Of course, those two drivers in that particular fight for the championship. McCutcheon looking to go to the outside of Delmont. We've still got 15.5 minutes left of racing action like this. Meanwhile, the fight for third sort of dissipates as Morton and Palmer build a bit of a gap. The question remains for how much longer, while the faster pros sort of sort themselves out. As soon as they get themselves into a rhythm and calm down, Morton and Palmer, I believe, are going to be in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, I think they are here as well, but Dalmont and Manifeld still going at it. We're looking back up from Dalmont to McCutcheon, who's got Ridley battling away. Then Luke Maxwell's further down the order. He's got Jack Andrews, Edward Parfitt, Paul Godden scrapping it out with Dixon Toon Lewis here as well. I want to see if we can have a look what happened to Carl Hardy and Jason Morris. Right, so somebody's... Oh, okay, let's catch that a little bit earlier there. As somebody went off the side of the circuit. Both of them, actually, went off the side of the circuit, but I'm not entirely sure if Morris got contact from... Oh, no, he didn't. But unfortunately, they were both there on both of them guys as well. Now looking back from Luke Maxwell, he's got Jack Andrews for company running down that line. We've got Adam Dalmont further up. He's trying to take the inside line over Manifeld, going around this final corner. McCutcheon in there as well. We've got Wayne Palmer, who's leading the AMs at the moment here, Zach, but he's doing it rather sensibly.
Yeah, exactly. Just picking his fights well. He knows he's got a big gap back to Jack Andrews, which is the only driver that matters. He can lose all of the places in between and still take the maximum points for the AM. So just trying to stay out of everyone's way. Of course, these pros are fighting really hard. You can see Dalmont there with Manifeld, McCutcheon then getting himself involved immediately after. And Palmer's just like, yeah, I'm just, you go for a move, that's fine. You do you. I'm just going to try and control the race in the AMs and keep as big of a gap as I can. Because the moment I fight, the moment, of course, my rivals start to bring themselves back into contention. There's the move, of course. Dalmont and Manifeld all find their way through. McCutcheon probably quite eager as well, just to funnel his way back on the inside. And if I was Palmer, I wouldn't care less.
No, he's not. I don't think he is, to be fair. The interesting thing is, when you look back at the boys in Sim Stickers team of Wayne Palmer and Paul Godden, both of them are very, very smart. They pay attention to who's around them. They pay attention to who they can get involved with, who they can't get involved with, who they need to let go, who they don't need to let go. Now for Wayne Palmer, he's got to try and hang on to this second gap that he's got, because he's got Edward right behind him, Luke Maxwell about a second back at the moment as well, and that gap can close quite rapidly with this long straight run that we've got, with these cars topping out, as we know, about 133. The interesting thing is, I went on to Pete Newman, who was being drafted, who had the draft from Jack Andrews, and he went 134. So it's not making a real big difference here this evening, Zach.
No, not really. And just, again, riding the wave, you can stay somewhat in the slipstream, and every little helps at the end of the day, even if it is only a tenth of a second a lap or whatever it works out being. It's a tenth of a second that he wouldn't have if he wasn't there. And also just the sheer fact that in the slipstream, with people that are faster, you can just sort of push yourself to try and keep up with them. This is a very close fight, by the way, for the lead. Roger Morton versus Pete Newman. Here goes Newman taking a much tighter line off the exit of the final corner, pulls himself alongside. How hard of a battle will Morton put up? How hard of a battle can he put up across the line? And it's not much. Fastest lap for Newman and the race lead as well. Of course, Delmont not a million miles away. However, we'll have to make very quick work of that man in second.
Dan Lewis went into the pits on lap 3. He didn't actually... Oh, stopped for 4.73 of a second. And I'm not entirely sure why he would need to stop for... I don't know. I don't get that one. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe he went into repair damage if he had any, or I'm not entirely sure why he stopped for that less time, but he did stop there as well. Dalmont and Morton now going at it as well. Morton trying to block. Oh, there was almost contact there as well. There was a little bit there. Zach Morton got a little bit of a slide on here. He's doing a much harder defense than over Dalmont than he probably did over Pete Newman, to be fair.
Yeah, for whatever reason, maybe just circumstance, maybe just felt a little bit easier at that particular part of the circuit for Morton to put up a challenge, but in the end, it is going to be Delmont that finds his way past. Of course, the slipstream could well spark a counter-attack. There's Manifeld as well in the background, pulls immediately alongside. Delmont's focus now has to be, do not get caught up in a battle for second. get after Pete Newman and try and make it 2 wins into. You can see side by side still Manetveld versus Morton. That's going to be a drag race all the way to the final corner. Manetveld, though, with the slipstream of Dalmont, that will help him, of course, give him a little bit of a helping hand, but you can see the slipstream not as particularly strong. I mean, it's still keeping Morton alongside. He's got absolutely nothing, and it worked well, be able to keep Morton in the position. However, chopping his nose off. Nicely done, Eric Manetveld.
Ouch! Roger Morton there, in for a nose job. Give Kim Kardashian a call there, buddy, because you're going to need it after that one, I can tell you that much. Ridley's closed on to the back of McHutchinson now as well. Now Morton's still in the mix. We've got all the pros where we need them in that front 6. With Luke Maxwell battling away. Morton runs wide into turn 1. Unfortunately, that's lost him 2 places. Maxwell's now coming up to Wayne Palmer. Edward Parfitt's 2.5 seconds back. There he is in the background on that podium spot there as well. It could well be a jump start. He did get away like an absolute rocket, Dan Lewis. So maybe it is that here as well. We're going to have a look back and see. Oh, yes. He was already...
Try and hide it.
No, he was already rolling for Dan Lewis. So, yes, he definitely did get a jump start there as well. Roger Morton's gone backwards again. He's lost another place to Luke Maxwell. And then we've got Carl Ridley going with John McHutchinson. So some great battles developing all the way through here as well. Morton now with Palmer alongside. He's battling it out. This isn't good for Wayne Palmer because Edward's closing in. He's just taken about a second out of him over that last lap there. And for Wayne Palmer, he really doesn't need to be getting involved with this if he shouldn't really have to.
No, he needs to let Morton through, sit in a slipstream, because the big buffer that Palmer did once have has now been completely mitigated. There is Parfitt, there is Andrews, Godden, all in a train, all closing in very, very quickly. So it's in Palmer's best interest to allow Morton through, maintain that gap for as long as he can, use Morton for as much as he can in order to get away, because the longer he tries to die on this hill, the more likely he is going to be to die on this hill, because Parfitt is there, Andrews is there, queued up, ready to go, side by side, McHutchinson versus Ridley. That's the fight for 4th.
Yeah, these guys were getting rather close down that long straightaway here as well. I prefer this layout. Do you know what I mean? I prefer this layout of Aragon here as well. I think that silly little bit halfway through the long straight where he just turns to the left and right, I don't think it's needed here either. Ridley trying to go back up the inside. The Scotsman's on the outside. They give each other room. John McHutchinson coming back through. Where is Eric Manetveld going? I have no idea where Eric Manetveld went, but wherever he went, I'm guessing he just went off the side of the circuit. So for McHutchinson and Ridley, they're still scrapping it out. Dalmont's closed up to the back of Pete Newman as well. Ridley's just about to go in the... Oh! Maybe not.
Have a look. Is it Ridley?
All right, goes up the inside. Oh.
He gets the up and under. This is a nice little move. Beautifully done. Up the inside.
He
doesn't get stopped though.
He didn't get it stopped, did he? Unfortunately there for Ridley. He wasn't looking like he even got it stopped, as Dalmont and Newman are side by side now as well, as they're fighting out down line. This is going to be a drag race of both cars. No draft between them. 133 maximum going down here. This is going to have to be a battle of the Braves into the brakes down at turn 13, I think, on this one, Zach.
Yeah, I definitely think so. Here we go, fight for the lead. Dalmont versus Newman once again in race 2. Let's see what they've got in store for us for race 3, but let's conclude this one first. Another battle for the ages, and you can see Dalmont using all of the track available to him just to take that sweeping nature of the final corner. However, Newman with a tighter line, using all of the track on the inside and able to stay ahead. Nicely done from the champion, and now you can see as they emerge over the crest to start another lap, they're still fighting side by side. Once again, Newman has the left.
Yeah, he does. Newman's going to have the inside line into turn 1 here. He's going to be later on the brakes over out of Dalmont. Dalmont's going to try and should have maybe tried to switch back on him there, run around the outside of 1 and then round the outside of 2, but Newman's hanging on. Dalmont is very, very close here as well. Just how close? Well, he is that close. You can see through the back window of Pete Newman's little Clio here as well. They go off round turn 4 and 5. and Delmont is looking racy. There is also a battle materializing in the AMS. Palmer it's got Morton in front, he's got Parfitt behind, he's got Andrews and Godden. So them guys are scrapping it out further down. That's from 5th down to 9th at the moment. Here as well, Delmont is just about to try and go up the inside. Is he going to make it? Newman gives him room. He takes the inside line. Newman's got the inside for the next one. That's going to allow Delmont to try and get a run out on him. Take that wider line, get down on the power early here, Zach. And now we are just up to this drag race again.
Yeah, and I think that is going to be the tale of the tale when it comes to this rivalry. Swings and roundabouts. One attacks, the other defends, then on the other lap it's the other way around. Thanks to this long back straight. 5 minutes left to go, probably about 3 laps at the line, I think. Maybe 2. Be very touch and go. Of course, we'll see. Newman has to go defensive and he's committing early, but here comes Delmont with that slipstream and with that slingshot. Moreover, bit of side draft involved as well and trying to give Newman the squeeze. What a battle this is. What a rivalry between the pair of them it is. Nothing separating them in the championship, nothing separating them out on circuit either. Delmont's later on the brakes, a little bit of a squirm as he tries to keep the car under wraps, but once again, Pete Newman holding firm. Great respect between two great drivers.
Yeah, Adam Delmont, Pete Newman running away at the front. We've got the Team Redline boys of Maxwell and McHutchinson behind that. Then we've got Morton, who's got Palmer for company here as well. So they're going side by side in the background. There they are there. We've got Parfitt in the background with Jack Andrews and Paul Godden still going at it. But his lead battle is taking shape. Newman, for Palmer here with Morton. Morton has basically been battling with Palmer, and ever since he's been battling with Palmer, these 3 AMs behind him have just closed up like an absolute trooper. He had a 2.5 second gap, but Morton is on pace with these guys. That's the problem, and it's battling away with them and just can't seem to get in front of them, as he looks like he's just about to lose a place to Parfitt here as well, as they're going 3 wide, near enough. Parfitt's trying that cutback. Andrews is on the inside. Now they're all going again here. Great little scrap from all these guys. Morton's off the side of the circuit. Godden's off the side of the circuit. Now we've got Palmer, Andrews and Parfitt scrapping it out for the lead here in the AMS here, Zach. Oh, big send from Godden. Big send from Godden. Palmer's going to have Parfitt's going to have the inside. He's going once more. Andrews has got the run with Jack with Palmer. They're battling away like troopers down here.
They are. They're not giving an inch. And with only 2 laps left to go as well, they're just going to ramp up the stakes even more. Sliced off the nose in the background. I think that was Paul Godden just ahead of Roger Morton. But you can see this battle here directly for the lead of the AMs. Those 3 cars right there. Andrews from Palmer, who's on the left-hand side of your screen. Then Parfitt just in behind, making up this formation of 3. Let's see how Parfitt's going to tackle this challenge. Side by side once again for the lead. Delmont versus Newman. This time Delmont's able to stay ahead. 2 to go at the line.
Yeah, he is. I just wanted to check how they were doing getting down into that last corner. Parfitt's on the inside. We've got Palmer on the outside. We've got Andrews in front of us currently. We've got them behind. Then we've got Morton and Carl Ridley. Ridley's not really made great progress in race 2. We've got Paul Godden up 10 places. He's scrapping it out. Look at this freeway for the AMs. They are not giving an inch there as well. Oh, no. Oh, I thought Edward was going to send it free. Whoa! Where are you going? Paul Godden. Well, that was a send and a half, Zach.
Definitely committed. Let's put it that way. What else would we want, really?
Full send commitment from Paul Godden in turn 1.
Can't complain.
He was like, "What's an off track or 2? I'm just gonna go full flat." And these guys still battling out. We've got 6 cars scrapping it out here first. Martin Sampson's asked in chat, who's going to crash first? I'm not entirely sure, but I can tell you that much. Oh, Parfitt's taking to switch back over Palmer. Palmer got it wrong. Oh, Godden and Morton make contact. A little bit of hip check from Morton there, and now it's released Parfitt and Andrews to go at it again with the others not too far away either. Pete Newman and Adam Delmont still going once more here. I think they might just make one more lap here, Zach. They've got about a minute to get down this long straightaway around this last turn.
Yeah, I mean, how close was it for Delmont in quali? Because he had about 25 seconds. at that point. How much did he miss it by? Probably about 10 seconds or so. So I think they will just about make it. Will be very touch and go though. I think they'll be fairly comfortable. Yeah, they've got no problem whatsoever into the braking zone already with still 40 seconds left. So we will have to continue once again. Once again, very close between the pair of them. And this is what it means. Newman is behind on the final lap, and that is a huge advantage.
Yeah, it definitely is. The Parfitt Andrews battle. Parfitt's on the outside coming into the final lap there as well. Andrews gives him a bit of a squeeze. Now Parfitt's nestled in. He's in the same place as Delmont. He's got Morton in for there for company as well. Morton, Andrews, Parfitt, last lap battle. This is the situation. Andrews is on the defensive here as he's proper trying to defend that line. Do not leave the inside open. Oh, Parfitt's muscled his way through. Is he going to get it stopped? He's not going to get it stopped. That's going to allow Andrews to come back on there as well. Andrews retakes the lead of the AMs. Morton in that mix as well, with Palmer still going at it. But look at Newman and Delmont. They are on the fight as they come into turn 7.
Let's see who's going to be the one to come out on top. Of course, for Delmont, this could, well, it sort of stretch that advantage in the championship and make it 2-0 in terms of wins this evening. For Newman, this is an important thing because it equalises the game and means that the round can go either way for race 3. But this is an important win for him. He's got one more chance left to prove it. Of course, we've had 10.5 laps. We're about to round off the 11th. It's the most important half lap that could well decide the rest, or the sort of the trajectory for the rest of the evening, but also the championship that's beyond that. These two have shared such a good season so far, such a good season yet to come. Delmont, has he got enough of a margin to defend?
Well, Newman's not nestled in as close as I thought it was going to be. The draft isn't massively strong, Zach, and that's the fear. It's only kind of 1 mile an hour as we checked it out earlier on that Newman's getting here. It's not, these are not aerodynamic downforce open-wheeled machines, and I think it's going to be Delmont again in race 2. Delmont's going to take that win. Newman's nestled in behind him again here. And it is going to be Adam Delmont. He is going to take this victory. What's happening in this AM fight between Andrews and Parfitt? Parfitt can't get through. I think Andrews is going to make it 2 for 2 here as well. With Parfitt, who's going to try and run around the outside. I don't think he's going to carry enough speed. I think it's going to be Jack Andrews. It is going to be Jack Andrews as he takes 2 for 2 in the AM win here for Jack Andrews. So well done for him. Edward is in second. Hopefully that's where we'll be when we look at the results this time around, as I still can't work out what happened in race 1. But some great action all the way through there, Zach, and epic action down in the AMs.
Yeah, and the fact that we've had both winners of both classes win both races doesn't tell the story of the evening so far. You know, the fact that the racing has been insane. The two winners have had to work for it so hard, but they've been the ones that excelled, and it could have gone either way on so many different occasions for both Andrews and Delmont. But in terms of their respective championships, they've got so much they need to gain. They want to succeed. Particularly Delmont, that is a huge statement, and you know, we're seeing some huge improvements. You know, I was about to say this time last season, but even a few rounds ago in the Clio Cup, how big of a pushover he is when it came to Newman, and yet he's just dealt with that pressure 2 races in a row, where Newman has not let off, has been relentless. Delmont's still been able to come out on top.
So good job from Adam Delmont there as well. Don't forget, they do get 25 points for the win, 20 for second. Delmont was currently going into this race 2 points back. So technically he's gained 10 points over Pete Newman here as well, as we're into this 5-minute warm-up. Thank you so much to everybody that has joined us. Sorry if we missed up in this, missed anybody's messages. There was lots coming through throughout this race as well. So thank you to you all there for joining us. Justin Average Sim Racing, Lewis McGlade jumped in as well. David Ayres, thank you so much for coming in, and Mr. John Brown as well. Also much love to you guys. There isn't, I'm sorry to say, Lewis, there isn't no Flat Earth talk. You'll have to check out the podcast on that one as well. So no Flat Earth chat happening this week. We did discuss whether or not Paul McCartney is dead or alive. Did he die in a car crash in 1966? That second podcast is out now. You can go and check it out on the Conclusion Unknown YouTube channel there as well. Well, this is just great racing from all of these guys. Morton seems to be a little bit struggling here this evening.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know why. It might just be a case that Aragon isn't his best circuit, in which case, fair enough. Again, it's only been in iRacing for like 2 seasons now. It's not been used a lot. Actually, no, saying that, Aragon's been here since like July of 2023. But then again, I suppose that is only a couple of seasons, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not been used in an abundance of leagues as such. You know, not everyone has ran it, and it's not exactly a circuit that you'd relentlessly practice, particularly sort of this layout of it. You'd say, you know, even so obscure that racingcircuits.info doesn't even have it on there, you know, sort of as an option. So it is difficult. Maybe he's not had the time to put in as much practice as those around him. You know, all these different circumstances come into it. It's not just a case of he's, you know, being bad. It's just that he'll have different levels of talent at different rounds, I suppose, is the only way you can really put it. He might bounce back next week. He might not. Who knows? Either way, this week has not been the best of weeks for Roger Morton.
No, definitely not there. I don't know. It's a hard one, but there you go. So there we go. Thank you so much to everybody who's joined us. Don't forget, like, subscribe, turn on the bells. That would be absolutely amazing. We've got about 2.5 minutes here left of the warm-up. Then we go into that top 15 race 3. Let's bring you up the results of the consolidation race. That was the one we've just done. Adam Dalmont was your winner with Pete Newman and Luke Maxwell, your 1, 2, 3. John McHutchison in 4th. Then we've got the arms of Jack Andrews and Edward Parfitt. That's 1 and 2, with Roger Morton sitting in there in 7th. Wayne Palmer and Paul Godden 8th and 9th. Carl Ridley in 10th, with Chris Dixon 11th. Dan Lewis 12th. Carl Hardy down in 13th. Eric Manaveld 14th. Sir Alan Toome 15th, who will be on pole. And then we've got Jason Morris, Carl Jacklett and Adam McNally. Not entirely sure if those guys did not take the start. But a couple of minutes here remaining. Zach, let's see how this one goes as we're going into race 3.
Should be good. 20 minutes left of racing action. And to be fair, this evening's flown by, I have to say. I mean, I suppose it's because it's a slightly longer circuit. There's less lap times, and so in your brain it sort of tricks you to think that, I don't know, it goes quicker as such.
Yeah.
Which is something I've always said. You know, races at Bathurst, even if they're the same amount of time, go a lot quicker than races at Tsukuba. I don't know why that is. But yeah, all in all, I mean, it's been great. The racing's been fantastic. I'm sure that theme will continue going into race 3, no doubt. Will we have someone else win, though? Because we've had the same 2 for both, well, 4 races, technically.
But you know, the thing is as well, that's the first time in ages that that's happened. The first time we've had the same winners. If I remember correctly, we've had quite a few winners, different races there as well. Now, I will have an update on Edward from race 1. He got a slowdown that he did not clear in time before going over the line, unfortunately. So, yeah, that's unfortunately what happened to Edward in race 1. That's why he lost out on that podium place. That's a little bit of a crazy mistake, isn't it, really, from him on that one?
Yeah, just a skill issue, really. Runs in the family more than anything. And
I'm not even paying attention to you, Zach. I'm just going to ignore that comment.
Just gonna bank it. No, it's fine. Fine. It's got to be one of you. It's either Craig Jones or you that I've got to rile up.
Yeah, you know, listen. There's a lot of age difference between me and you, young'un. And as my dad always says to me, I've forgotten more than you know. So that's all that matters here as well.
Probably a sign you're getting old then, isn't it?
Yeah, purely. I am. Mate, I'm 45, you know what I mean? 46 this year. Don't even go there. Right, let's bring you up the grid for race 3. So Alan Toone is on pole with Eric Manaveld in 2nd, Carl Hardy 3rd, Dan Lewis 4th. Then you've got Chris Dixon and Kyle Ridley in 6th, Paul Godden 7th, Wayne Palmer 8th, Roger Morton in 9th, Edward Parfitt 10th, Jack Andrews in 11th with John McHutchison 12th, Luke Maxwell 13th, Pete Newman 14th, and Adam Dalmont down in 15th. Jason Morris in 16th with Carl Jacklett and Adam McNally. Not entirely sure that these guys at the back end, Morris, Jacklett and McNally, are going to make this. But let's see how Alan Toon gets on here as well. The lights are coming up. We are going to be green very, very shortly. The lights are on. You can see them there. It's 5 lights. Now we are green, green, green. So Alan Toon gets that little Clio off the line here and is leading. Is he just? No, it's Eric Maneveld and Carl Hardy go round the outside of Sir Alan Toon there as well as he's trying to get out the way. I just want Tooney to go for it. I think we've only ever seen Tooney go for it in one race, Zach. But everybody at the moment made it through cleanly. There's a bit of bump on the curb there from Roger Morton. Is he going to be trying to nestle in here, or is he going to settle in? There's an incident at the back. Oh, that's Parfitt and Andrews. The two leaders of the AMs have gone round here. And where was the gap? Was there any gap there as well? Oh, they were... Ooh. Not entirely sure on that one.
I think it's just got worse and worse for Jack Andrews more than anything. So up the inside. See, the thing for Andrews there is that he felt a lot of pressure because obviously there was a car to his left and he was trying to accommodate everyone, which just doesn't work. And not necessarily saying he's innocent because he's not. He did basically just blatantly drive into the side of Edward Parfitt, but you can sort of empathise with the fact that you can see why he felt that maybe he couldn't give as much space to the left or whatever. So it's an easy mistake to make, one that we've definitely all made. Opens the door for a new AM winner, though, for this evening. So let's have a look. 3 wide here. Newman, Delmont just in behind. There's McCutcheon and Palmer as well. Palmer, of course, all the way to the right. Newman all the way to the left, and McCutcheon through the middle. Now as you run away towards the hairpin, Delmont trying to close the gap with the slipstream as best he can. And let's bring it on. Of course, you can see he's using a varying amount of the track.
Yeah, he looks very nervy there, didn't he? He was very left to right. I don't know if he was just trying to put the frighteners up the people around him. But he put it up on me in the booth here, because I thought at one point he was going to make contact. We've got Morton and Dixon making side-by-side action. Maneveld and Hardy up front. You see them just going through the bottom of your screen there. Morton now on the brakes, just settles in behind Godden. Godden goes in a little bit deep here. I think that's Sir Alan Toon going off into the underworld. There he is, Sir Alan Toon going off into the upside down as Morton and Godden continue to battle here as well. Pro-Am fight again on track for Roger Morton. He does definitely seem to be struggling here this evening.
Yeah, for whatever reason, like we said, a little bit wide. I think that's being sent wide. Yeah, Chris Dixon washed out to dry. McCutcheon goes to the inside, and that's opened the door for Delmont to definitely get involved. He can see his champion rival of Newman, and similar to what we saw in race 2, wants to get after him as best he can. Newman making that better initial jump thanks to starting ahead. Delmont uncharacteristically sort of taking his time finding a way through. Usually we would already see him sort of up into 4th or 5th as such at this point in the race, side by side in behind. That's Palmer versus Dixon. Palmer's going to get ahead. Luke Maxwell as well, nips as well on the inside using the nicely dipped part of the circuit. The camera is going way downhill, and he's up now into 11th place.
Yeah, we've got it's quite interesting so far. Maneveld and Hardy with Ridley. Now this is the send it, bend it, win it or bin it teams. Send it and bend it in front, win it and bin it behind, with Dan Lewis leading the AMs. He's got Roger Morton 6/10 back, who's got Paul Godden for company. Then we've got Newman and McHutchinson still running side by side with Palmer in the background. Then we've got Dixon, who is at the back end. We've got Parfitt, who's got Sir Alan Toon for company. And we've got Jack Andrews, who's a long way back at the moment. Quite a distance back here as well, as Tooney is settling in behind Edward. Edward goes onto the brakes, makes his way round the left-hander. Alan Toon sends it and tries to run it the long way round. The fastest lap for Carl Ridley, 1:55.954 here. And he's now alongside with Carl Hardy and Eric Maneveld. This could be an interesting three-way fight here.
Bring it on. Cannot complain with it one bit. Of course, the more they fight, the more they're going to reel in other people. But for now, we definitely can enjoy it. All 3 of these drivers definitely deserving of a victory. Just lacking that extra little push to get it. And of course, maybe a little bit of bad luck for Newman and Delmont. There is the gap, though. Ridley threads the needle through. Nicely done. Carl Hardy now trying to get involved as well. Maneveld very easily could lose 2 places in one corner here.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a debate whether or not Maniveld actually let Ridley through there. Now it's going on a major defense there as well over Hardy. I do wonder if Maniveld let him through. I've got to be honest, to allow Ridley to make a jump forward with Hardy, and I can guarantee Maniveld is going to defend stouter than a Jose Mourinho football team here, because he is going to make sure that he does not allow Carl Hardy to get through as quickly as he probably allowed Carl Ridley to go through there again. Dan Lewis still leading the outfight with Roger Moore and Pete Newman, McCutcheon, Delmont. You are right. And do you know what? I'm quite impressed with Delmont. He hasn't rushed the first 3 laps here and is making strides forward, but in a conservative way, which for Adam Delmont, that can only be a good thing.
But is it though? Because he's now 2 places behind Newman, and yeah, he's got loads of time left in this race. But the best thing for Newman in reverse grid races is his punchiness, I think. The fact that he doesn't mess around in the first couple of laps, because he doesn't he doesn't do it, you know, sort of wrong, right? He gets his way through, he gets it cleanly, he doesn't take any risks, and yet he does it quickly, he does it efficiently. He gets in front, he builds a gap, so much so that, yeah, Newman usually is able to sort of get up to maybe the place behind Delmont, but he's then 4 or 5 seconds behind. So Delmont's never really under any threat. Now, he's 2 places behind Newman, of course, you know, right behind him essentially, and trying to search for that gap on McCutcheon if he can. The gap on the inside definitely does open up, and he is going to pick his way past nearly. But the thing I've always respected about Delmont so much in the reverse grid races is the fact that he just doesn't wait.
But I think he might be realising now as well, Zach, that sometimes being punchy in these 2 races, he doesn't really need to. He can afford to sit back and pick people off one by one, knowing that he's got the pace. I think that's the thing for Delmont. There's no real reason for him to be rushing these moves now. He's got a long track. He's got a long run. He can take his time. He can get that situation done. Do you know what I mean? And I think he can take time there. As we see in the background, Luke Maxwell just clear Paul Goddard. Now we've got Goddard and Palmer. We've still got Dan Lewis in front up here for the AMs, but I don't think there's need here for Adam Delmont as well. Pick up at Carl Hardy. Is he going to be able to get through Maniveld? Is Ridley in front going to be able to survive here? Well, we're going to find out very, very shortly.
Let's see, nose to tail, the entirety of the top 3, 7 minutes 27 into this race, and well, 12.5 minutes left to go. And Carl Ridley going to be able to do his best into the final corner. Maniveld searching for the gap, but no way through for now for any of them. Have to say, great job for Dan Lewis up in front, keeping at bay Morton, Newman, McCutcheon, Delmont as well, and a big gap back to Paul Godden. So seemingly a firm victory in the AMs consolidated for him, as long as he's able to keep it nice and clean. A little bit of carnage in the background. Delmont side by side with McCutcheon. That's the fight for 7th, and also allows Delmont to close the gap to Newman. A slowdown for Dan Lewis.
I don't know.
Not really getting in anyone's way.
No, I don't know on that one, Zach. I don't know if that was a slowdown or that was a choice to move over because he had all them pros behind him. He ain't stupid, Dan Lewis. Do you know what I mean? I would be very surprised if that was a purposeful. No, hold on. Where am I going with that? I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't let them through on purpose. That's what I was trying to say in that one.
What?
He let.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if Dan moved over and allowed them to go through, so he doesn't have to battle with the gap that he still got over Luke Maxwell and Paul Godden, who are literally 1.5 seconds behind him. That's what I was trying to say.
It was the double negative. It was, you wouldn't be surprised if he didn't, as such, and it caught me up. It's fine, no worries. Part of the thing that of the countless things that you've forgotten that I'm yet to know is clearly grammar.
Mate, don't you worry about it. I'll teach you everything you need to know this, and I'll put you under my wing, and I'll give you a little pat on the back. And
that means I'm destined to end up like you, and no.
But that's not a bad thing, mate. You know what I mean? I run a company that you work for. Yeah.
Well,
who's in the wrong? Who goes to their who goes to their 9 to 5 every day, and all I do is walk out my bedroom, get a coffee, and go sit in my office? Yeah.
Hang on. It's 8 to 5. First of all. Second of all, I've handed my notice. Third of all, you have the privilege of employing me.
Yeah, I don't really know if that's the case here, as Morton and Delmont are battling out, going down into the last corner. Delmont should be able to sweep past the outside. Morton has struggled with this circuit all night long, and I've got a bunny feeling he's just about to lose another 2 places. Delmont goes through, McHutchison goes through. Dan Lewis is now on the pace with Morton. This is the problem for Roger Morton. He hasn't got the pace to keep with the pros and stay in front of Dan Lewis. What is Lewis going to do here, Zach? Is he going to be able to get past Morton and push him back? Or does he sit behind Morton and hope he takes it forward?
I mean, at some point you have to take action into your own hands, surely. And with Morton, I mean, no offence, but tonight, has he been the most reliable source of pace? Not really. And I don't mean that harshly. It is just how it's been. So if I was Lewis, I mean, it's not necessarily... it's not necessarily... So I've just looked over the YouTube chat. It's not necessarily the worst idea to maybe intermingle, but then again, if they're matched on pace, they might as well just use each other to better themselves. He's got a gap back to God, and he's not really worried as Dan Lewis, so I'd just be happy to sit where I was, in all fairness. You're still going to win the AM, still going to take home the same amount of points. Don't really matter.
It definitely doesn't, but it would be nice if, you know, I'm sure for Lewis, he doesn't really want to fight, because we saw that with Wayne Palmer, I think in race 2, where he was battling with Morton, and the guys behind closed a 2.5 second gap on him. So he really doesn't want to have this battle if he can absolutely help it. He's either got to clear Morton, or Morton's just got to get good and get quicker, as Maniveld and Ridley here as well. I think it's going to be a send it, bend it, win it, bin it team race, with Carl Hardy trying to make the position up, but he's just not getting close enough here as well. So let's see how this one goes. Craig Jones, behave yourself in YouTube chat there, dear sir. Thank you very much. I'd like to point out here as well. So some great battling, Zach, and don't you get involved in the YouTube conversation.
I'm always involved in the YouTube conversation. What else would I be doing when I'm not listening to you?
So El Nasir said you still owe him money from the last time he cheered on. He was on your side.
Interest. That's 0% interest, isn't it? Right?
No, it's not now. It's 50%.
Oh no!
It's 50% per day on the £10 that you said you were going to give him.
Skin?
No. Oh, Nasir, if you could just send me a PayPal, I'll send Zach's wages for this month to you. So, okay. So
well, last 2 months actually.
Last 2 months.
Oh.
If you could just PayPal me, I'll send them over to you. With
well,
the
PayPal
interest.
will take half of that in fees anyway.
No, I'll do it, friends and family.
Fair dues. Fair dues.
Yeah, well, that one. Carl Hardy still trying to scrap it out with Ridley. Now Hardy's got the added bonus of his rear gunner coming at him here, with Pete Newman closing up as well.
Yeah. We've got 5 cars actually. Sorry, I can't count for a second. With 7 minutes 7 seconds left of this race, half a second between all of them with the potential to win. However, Pure Sims have, I suppose result as well, of course 1 and 2 with Ridley and Maniveld, also have some good support, but I was going to say that Pure Sims have got Hardy and Newman to sort of propel themselves forward, whereas Delmont, unfortunately, is all by himself.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what happened to Adam McNally there. Be interested to find out. He was in the driver briefing, and then he just kind of disappeared. He just poofed here as well. So maybe he's just not loving the circuit, but we'll drop him a little cheeky message and ask him what went on as well. But, well, okay, I can't do that, as I can't find him in the Discord. So there we go for Adam McNally. But overall, it's been some great racing. We've still got some time left on the board. We've still got more racing to come here, Zach, and I think this could be one of them epic endings that we've seen so many times here from these guys, and I think this could be an even bigger one coming towards the end of this.
Could well be indeed. I think we are going to have an absolute standout performance from all of these guys. Ridley, Maniveld, Hardy, all of them are going to be fighting tooth and nail for that win, because all of them deserve it. I mean, surely it's a prime opportunity. I mean, unless Carl Hardy is just going to allow Newman through, which I think might well be the case, taking a nice wide line and then giving Newman sort of easier passage. I mean, it's not really worked out in the smoothest of ways. I think the way they wanted to do that was a smooth transition that didn't actually amount in Carl Hardy losing too much time relative to Delmont. However, Adam not waiting around whatsoever, looks to the outside and tries to catapult his way through, and it might have been a bit of an awkward exchange for Pearson's. A good idea, but not the best of executions. Hardy sends the move back to the inside of not one, but both of them as they make it through the next part of the chicane. Delmont gets his way through, and you have to say he is fighting an uphill battle 2v1.
Yeah, he is. Is he going to be able to use these boys to take him forward there? They did try swapping that position, but it was a little bit scrappy. Now Hardy is tucked in behind Delmont here. You can see he's going to push Newman. Sorry, he's going to push Newman for love nor money. Look, we are literally inside Newman's Clio. There's the empty fuel tank. Not quite sure how Pete's still got that running there. But that little suspension on the right-hand side there, Hardy giving him a good old pace. Delmont's keeping board with him though. It's not really making a difference, and Delmont's going to have the inside line coming into that final corner. Is Delmont going to be able to take it? Is he going to get in front of both of these guys here as well? It looks like he may do. He's going around the last corner. He's going to have the inside line. Hardy's going to have the inside line. Newman's going to have the outside line. It's Delmont and Newman. Hardy's trying to get involved. He's pushing, trying to push Newman through here as well, Zach. Great race in there, and Carl Hardy definitely trying to be a team player on that one.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job. I mean, the support that Hardy gives for Newman is insane. I mean, Newman's a very lucky guy in order to have such a willing teammate. There's Delmont though, sweeping his way the long way round. What a beautiful move if he's able to hold on to it. Newman, of course, not going to go down without a fight. They are losing so much time to the top two, however, of Ridley and Manetveld into the final few minutes of this race. And oh my goodness me, Hardy with a huge twitch. McHutchison through up into 5th place with clear sight of the two ahead.
Yeah, he has now. Delmont now can see the back end of Manetveld. Can he make it though? That's going to be the thing. They've got 2 laps left, judging on the fact that we've been getting about 11 laps here. So let's see what happens between these guys. The AMs have kind of a little bit more spread out. Dan Lewis got a bit of a gap over Paul Godden, who's got Wayne Palmer, who's got 9 seconds to Edward there as well. So the AMs are kind of spread out, but it is this front battle of Newman, McHutchison, Delmont. There's Manetveld and Ridley. Manetveld is playing the team game as well here, Zach. He is not making moves on Ridley, and it's been pushing him all the way down the straight to try and get him further and further ahead. So for these guys, they're playing the team game as well, because I can guarantee if we go onto the nose of Manetveld, we are literally going to be up the back end, there you go, of Carl Ridley's car. He's got to back away before the corner though, because if you try and pump draft into a corner, that don't work, and they both could end up taking each other off.
Yeah, that's something that neither of them want to do, especially when they're in such a good position like they are. And with such a good chance of doing it as well. We've got 2 laps left to go. Delmont 1.8 behind. Very possible that one of these 2 people could definitely be taking the win. Both of them deserve it, but both of them will want it. And that's going to be sort of their Achilles heel, in the sense that both of them want this win. I mean, Manetveld has just completely gone straight on at 10-1. And in fact, oh, he's blinking. I thought he disconnected then. I actually had some... I thought he was just randomly disconnected. And, well, in fact, actually backing into Delmont, he could play this into the hand of Ridley. Maybe just to say, you know what, nah, we're going to secure this.
Maneveld's got a problem though, because he's backing into the wrong person. And I wouldn't want to be backing into Delmont. I've got to be honest here as well. If I was the car in front, you are asking a big ask. I'm hoping that we see clean defending here from Eric Manetveld, and not some random reactive rather than proactive defence either, because the last thing we want to see is these guys make contact. The gap's opening up. Excuse me. 1.7 now down to 1.3 here, Zach. Well, this could be an interesting last lap.
Don't doubt it. I mean, Ridley, he's driving so well, and the fact that Maneveld's blinking is not helpful at all to Delmont or Newman, because they are finding it so much harder to predict sort of what Maneveld's going to do, how he's going to defend, and that just means it's going to be even more difficult to overtake him, which means Ridley has even more of a chance of hanging on. However, Maneveld, he's not going to be invincible. Delmont can still find a way through, but he needs to do it ideally right now if he wants any chance of going for the victory. You can see lurking to the left, but Nothing there. Actually, in fact, going to send the move very late, catching Maneveld off guard. However, he does not get phased one bit. There's Eric Maneveld. 1 lap left to go for race number 3. Ridley leads by a second. Maneveld doing his best in order to consolidate a win.
Oh, he is defending like a trooper. Delmont now is either going to go and send it in on Maneveld. He's got to. He doesn't have a lot of option here. Maneveld is defending stoutly for Kyle Ridley. Oh, no. That's not going to help here either. I can tell you what, Adam Delmont would have just about had kittens there as well. Delmont's trying to get the sweep out of turn 3 onto 4 and 5. Is he going to get the inside line? Delmont's muscled his way. He's given it side by side. He's opened up a gap. Can he hold it? The Manifeld's going to have the inside line that may have just opened it up for Newman. They're 3 wide going into the corner. Newman, no! Manifeld gets tapped. Delmont's going to make it around the outside. Is Delmont going to hang on to the position? Over they go into turn 8. And it is Adam Delmont who's come out on top. Manifeld is going to possibly lose 2 positions here as well. McHutchinson's into the back of Newman. Delmont is free. Delmont is going to run now. McHutchinson's got Newman as they go round to the final. Round turn 10 for the final time.
But Maneveld has done his job. He has postponed the charge and could well allow Carl Ridley to take victory this season. 1 more corner left to go. As long as he doesn't completely mess it up, it's his race to lose. Maneveld, McHutchison, Newman in that fight for 5th. Delmont up in 2nd. He's going to be wishing that McHutchison and Maneveld hold on for their respective places. What a race 3 this has turned itself out to be, and what good news in the championship it is for Delmont, and what a huge statement for Carl Ridley.
Yeah, absolutely. He got help from Eric Maneveld there as well. If he owes anybody a beer, it is Eric Maneveld Ridley there as well. It looks like Ridley is going to take the victory. He's going to hang on here. What's happening further back? Is it going to be Newman? Is it going to be Maneveld? It is Newman! No, Maneveld got it. Maneveld got it with Newman there, and McHutchinson and Hardy. And that is the distinctive racing that we love with our Clios. There is team racing, there was battling, there was door opening, there was everything apart from major crazy driving, and that is what I like to see here in the Clios. It is always great racing, Zach, and it's been great racing again in race 3.
They brought the heat, but they didn't turn it up too much. That was a weird way to slide in the background. I think it was Morton. But yeah, great stuff from everyone involved, and everyone should be very proud of themselves. I mean, again, a couple of issues over the last couple of weeks. There's one way to bin it into the barrier, and there's another way to also lose your front bumper and then regain it, because physics. But obviously with the issues that we've had a couple of weeks ago, and you know, some of the themes throughout the season that some of the drivers aren't too happy with it, to then come in at Aragon and have driving standards this good shows that these guys, you know, they can do it, and they do it. So rest of the season, we expect this.
Yeah, absolutely. I want this as well. It's been absolutely incredible racing, but here are the results of race 3. Carl Ridley is your winner with Adam Delmont and Eric Maneveld. Delmont's three podiums out of 3 here this evening. The only man to take all 3 podiums there for Adam Delmont. Eric Maneveld in 3rd. Great defending from Eric. Backed into Delmont, tried to slow him down, gave Ridley a little bit of a break, but he done an absolutely superb job there as well, holding off Pete Newman right at the end with John McHutchison in 5th. I'd like to point out, Delmont's taking points out of Newman here this evening, so I'm going to be interested to see when the scores come out. Carl Hardy 6th, with Roger Morton in 7th and Luke Maxwell. Now we go into the AMs. It's Dan Lewis, your winner, with Paul Godden in 2nd and Wayne Palmer. That's the 1, 2, 3 there. I'd like to point out in the AMs, Palmer is the only person to take 3 podiums out of 3 here this evening. It's a great job from him. Parfitt in 12th with Andrews, Dixon, Toon, and then non-starters are Morris, Jacqueline and Adam McNally. So some great racing there as well, Zach, and I think it's going to be another fantastic evening of racing next week once more here as well. But we have seen great racing here this evening as well, so it should be an interesting evening of racing next week once again. Don't forget, guys, stay tuned over on the JPB YouTube channel. We've got a lot more coming up this week as well, and a lot of action happening with the UK sim races tomorrow night. Then we got GT4s on Wednesday. On Thursday, we got a triple bill TSRC coming up for that one. So we got TSRC on there. We've also got Radical Race Series coming up on Thursday. We've got Evolution on Thursday as well. So there's a lot of action happening this week. So stay tuned for that one here as well. So some great action going on there. Again, Zach, not a bad evening of racing, let's put it that way.
No, definitely not. A huge success, and as we say, a huge improvement in terms of the driving standards and everyone being on their best behaviour, bringing everything that they can, and yet still keeping it within the limits. So fair play to everyone. They all deserve a round of applause, and well done to all our winners.
Yeah, absolutely. The answer to your question, Nasir, is if you head to jpbbroadcasting.com, you will find all the information you are looking for on there, young sir. Don't forget as well, of course, is obviously we are halfway through the season. So if you do want to get yourselves involved, you can. But that's all the information we've got coming up. Tuesday's UK Sim Races. Wednesday, JPB GT4s from Long Beach. That's going to be an interesting one. Then on Thursday, TSRC GT3s Round 2 from Kyalami. Also on Thursdays, the Evolution GT3s Round 6 with Suzuka. Thursdays is the Radical Race Series Round 8 from Sebring. So there's an hour there where you're going to have 3 broadcasts all at the same time. And then on Friday morning at 1:50, we've got the Triple Bypass Xfinity Round 4 from Richmond. So that's taking you up to Friday. And as you can see, a lot of racing involved. Right, let's have a chat here as well with young Mr. Adam Delmont, who has joined us this evening. The only man to take 3 podiums out of 3 here tonight, and he's the only man to do that as well. But let's welcome him in to the booth. The man of 3 out of 3 for you, dear sir. How are you, Mr. Delmont?
I'm good, dude. How are you?
I'm very well, mate. I've just watched some great racing. I've just seen you take 3 podiums out of 3 and racked up 2 wins for Good Health and a second, which will take some nice little points out of Pete Newman there for you to be able to probably take the lead in the championship, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure till I see points, but I think successful night tonight, and fought Pete a bit harder tonight, and I think when we were battling at one point, I was kind of squeezing him to half. I thought half each. Let's be fair, we'll have half a road each. But yeah, I just managed to be able to hold it on the outside. So I thought, don't bother defending, just open up the door, and because full well that inner line's slower anyway. So yeah, enjoyed it, but.
Well, one of the things I want to pick up actually as well, and Zach actually mentioned this, you seemed very conservative coming through the field here this evening. Is this Adam Delmont turning over a new leaf, or what's the situation with that one?
No, mate, it were more just the couple of drivers that were in front, like, John and stuff. They're not slow drivers, and it is actually a hard track to pass, really. So, it was just a case of my main thing was I'd already got the win in the first and second race, so it was just a case of gauge to Pete. That third race, I had no panic, mate. It was just like, look, just gauge Pete, get to a point where I can be behind Pete, and then, if opportunity arises, I'll go for a move, and obviously it did.
Yeah. It definitely did, and it was great action over the last 4, I think it was like 3 or 4 laps with you guys battling up front. Eric Mannerfeld played a bit of a team game with Carl Ridley there, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Well done to him, though. I saw him up road working together really well. And in fairness to him, Eric, I believe, did actually make a mistake, and it looked like a genuine mistake, which got me quite close to him, and then Toe brought me in a bit more. But I knew the minute he made that little bit of a mistake, I knew that he was going to try and back us up a little bit, just to allow Kyle a little bit of breathing room, which, standard. We'd all do the same for each other as, each other's teammates in that circumstance. So, I've said to him already, well done on P1 and 3 for their team, and, obviously, well done on Kyle for the win.
Yeah.
But yeah, P2 still good enough, mate.
Mate, 2 wins and a second. That ain't bad at all. Adam, thank you so much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure watching you drive this evening, and well done on your 2 victories and second place there. But anyone you want to shout out before I let you go?
Yeah, a little bit different, and sorry if it takes up a minute.
That's all right. You carry on, mate. I'll just sit here.
I had some bad news this morning, and a close friend and person I work with passed away. So they were the runners of the BPEC, the British Pro Kart Endurance Championship. Unexpected. So she leaves children and husband, who we all work together every month, and we've known each other years. So I dedicate tonight to Ange Hutchinson.
There you go, buddy. Well done for getting through that one. I'll let you go there as well, and thoughts to Angie's family, and obviously kids as well, and husband, and prayers with you as well, buddy. Take care, mate.
Thank you. I haven't mentioned it all night because I didn't want anything, just something kept to myself, and then I just wanted to put that in there. Yeah,
no worries.
That's for Andrew's that. Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Care.
Bye.
Right, next up into the booth is Eric Maneveld here as well. I can only but say he played a team game in race 3, and he did it rather well as well. But let's welcome in Eric into the booth. Eric, good evening to you. Where's he gone? Oh, he is there.
You have Kyle.
Oh, hold on. I want to swap you over. Love you, Carl. I'll talk to you in a minute. Eric, welcome in, dear sir. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Where did you go? I thought I grabbed hold of you there as well.
No, you only grabbed Kyle, so I was like...
Okay, well, I do wear glasses for a reason. Look, buddy, great racing from you here as well. I want to pick up more on your race-free defense and Kyle Ridley's supporting role that you played in him getting that win. You did an absolutely stellar job on him.
Yeah, we were discussing a little bit who had the pace to go in front, but we were just waiting a little bit how the race unfolded, and unfortunately I got a slow down on the second lap, so I had to let him through, and from then it was just don't fight, because the guys behind are just so fast. If we start fighting, then we will lose the position anyway. So that was a little bit what we were doing, and then in the last lap I made a stupid mistake locking up into the first corner, and that's how I lost the second position. But it was a fun race anyway, and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it definitely was there as well. Race 1 and 2, how was it for you there as well? Because it looked like there was some great battling all the way through the race here this evening.
Yeah, the racing was really good today. Race 1 was just I had a bad qualifying, and race 1, not really much happened. Had some fun battles. Race 2, I was really warming up, getting the pace that I was missing in the first race and in the qualifying. But then unfortunately I hit the crazy curb in the first corner, and my suspension just completely broke. So I had to tow, which was a shame, because I really had the pace to get a P3 in that race. And it felt a little bit more on merit, I guess, than the third race. So that was a shame. But it was good to have a little bit of a comeback in the last race, at least.
Yeah, it definitely was. It was great to see there as well. And props on the defensive driving. It was absolutely awesome. Eric, thank you so much for joining me there, buddy. Anyone you want to shout out before I let you go here this evening?
Kyle, for winning the race. Good job on him. He drove a good race.
Awesome stuff, Eric.
And thank you.
No worries, buddy. Glad you're enjoying yourself, and look forward to seeing you on track next week, mate. Take care, fella.
Yeah. Take care.
Right, now we can have a chat with his teammate, young Mr. Kyle Ridley, the Australian here as well. The third place in race 1. He took a victory in race 3 with assistance from Eric Maneveld. Kyle, welcome in there, buddy. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you for having me the second time tonight.
No worries, mate.
I
wanted Eric first. I'm sorry.
No,
his team driving, buddy, was awesome, wasn't it?
He was very helpful. We were chatting who should be leading and whatnot, and then he got to slow down, and that made the decision for us. And tell you what, the Newman and Derman are scary fast. I was so happy today to actually do a qualifying in BP3, and I was somewhat keeping up with them, but then I hit a curb at turn 1, which bent my steering, and after a couple of laps, my pace just fell through the roof, and then had to deal with the yellow cars. I actually don't know what team they are. But that was a good night all in all.
Yellow cars would be the JPB Racing guys, I think, unless you mean the gold ones.
The gold ones, yeah.
That was Luke Maxwell and John McHutchinson. So there as well. It's interesting you mentioned turn 1 because it seemed to happen to Eric as well.
Yeah, there's a little stone just sitting right where you want to apex it. If you hit that stone, you obviously get a 1x, but if you miss the stone, you don't. I don't know. I know this is predominantly a bike track, but it feels weird having a literal stone on the racetrack.
Yeah, there is. We're just literally looking at it now on your front left suspension there as well. It's very bizarre to have that little kind of blob of concrete on the inside there as well. Overall, some nice little points all from you though this evening as well. You know, you're battling away in 3rd place with Carl Hardy. Hardy has not had the best of evening here this evening, so that could really extend your gap for 3rd place in the championship.
Yeah, 3rd place would be the goal. I just don't have the raw pace for Newman and Dolman, but if I can pip Harvey, that'd be a good effort for me, and definitely my goal for the remaining 4 rounds.
Well, let's look forward to that one and see how you get on there, buddy, and see whether or not you can take that 3rd place. But Carl, well done on that victory in race 3 there, mate, and look forward to seeing you next week. So have a good one, buddy. Anyone you want to shout out before I let you go?
Yeah, I just want to thank yourself for the commentary, the broadcasting, and Eric for being a good team sport and helping me for race 3. Thank you.
No worries, mate. Take care, bud. Have a good one.
See ya.
Well, there you go, Zach. Some quite happy drivers here this evening, I think you could safely say there from what we've been talking to with Adam Dalbont. Obviously, Adam with his emotional shout out there as well to, I think, the McHutchinson family. So fair play to them, and thoughts and prayers go out to you guys at this difficult time as well. But some great action throughout the race here, Zach, and some great racing we've seen tonight.
Yeah, it goes without saying, really. You know, we've touched on it a couple of times with just the sheer quality that we've had. And again, something that all of these drivers can be proud of. Moving on for the rest of the season, though, let's hope that they can be kept up and we see more of it. The championship battles, both in the pros and the AMs, are heating up quite a lot, and we're getting towards the business end of the season now, obviously well into the second half. Things start to mean a little bit more, pressure starts to get to it, you start thinking a little bit more critically about each of your points gained, and it's always in the back of your mind. It's a very tricky part of the season. But yeah, drivers seem happy. I mean, we spoke to probably the happiest bunch of drivers, the ones that got the best results, so there's no wonder why they would be happy. I mean, if we spoke to someone else, maybe they'd be a little bit more moany, but thankfully we got the better end of it. Obviously, heart goes out to the likes of the family, the people involved, and things like that, with the heartfelt moments mentioned. But all in all, a lot of positives to take from this evening.
Yeah, absolutely there as well. Well, that's going to wrap it up here tonight. So thank you to everybody that has joined me in YouTube chat. There's been so many. I've just been watching it literally flow all evening. So that's great to see here from Craig Jones, from Stuart Pearson, Phil, El Nasir is in there, David Ayres, Joey G. Not sure if I missed anybody. David Ayres, I think I said you already. If I did miss anybody, my apologies. Martin Sampson there, just caught up with you. But that's it, guys. That's going to round it out here this evening as well. Thank you so much for joining me. I've been James Parfitt alongside Zach Sweeney up here in the JPB booth. And as always, take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night.